in the world, one flame at a time, one smile at a time. Should be for Shalem of this class.
Chaya Levi.
Chaya Levi.
Chaya Levi Rochel.
Chaya Levi Rochel.
Bas Medrash.
Bas Medrash for Shalem. And also a dear friend.
So Maya Asha.
A dear friend of mine, Makel Tova Bas Ruth, and this week is a special Parsha because it's one of the reasons. It's the last weekly reading of the whole book of Bereshis, and we're starting Shemos. And Avram Avinu and Yitzchak and Yaakov, we're not leaving them back in the book of Bereshis. They're coming with us in Shemos. They're coming with us. You don't think, oh, that's it, Avos, and now we're going into slavery. Ugh, no. We know that they're coming with us. They're not leaving us alone in the cold winter months. They're coming with us. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Leah, Rachel, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Got it. And Doba says the first pasuk of the next book, not just the next parsha, but the next book starts Ve'ela Shemos, and these are the names. How do you start a book with the word with "and"? You know, it's like it's a continuation. Maybe you could start a sentence, maybe even a paragraph. Usually not a chapter, but a whole book. And these are because it's a continuation, and they're coming with us. And we should have a lot of strength because we need strength in the winter months. And when we go from one book to another, it's like on Simchas Torah. When we finish Devarim, what do we do? Like around 1 minute later, we start Bereshis, because a Jew is never finished with something. We start the next thing in Kedusha. We go from one mitzvah to the next, from one book of the Torah to the next. And it's because it's in between times when we're like in between a job, in between it's that time when we can get down. But when we're busy doing mitzvahs, nothing can stop us. We're like full force ahead, and we're alive with the mitzvah, and nothing can stop us. No Yetzer Hara, no Satan. So we have at the end of each book of the 5 books of Moshe, which is this coming Shabbos Bereshis. Do you know what we say in Shul when we finish the last word of the book? Chazak, chazak, v'nis chazek. That's like a chazaka. 3 times in a row, if you do something, you have a chazaka. In other words, it's sort of like it's yours. Like, I got it, it's mine. I've done it 3 times in a row. It's like a habit, or even more than, better than a habit. So we should have a chazaka of chizuk, of strength. And Moshe Rabbeinu, as we all know, davened and prayed and cared so much about his children that at one point when we sinned after receiving the Torah, he said, Hashem, erase me from your Torah if you don't forgive the Jews. It's not me. It's not about me. Hashem said, look, the Jews are sinning. I'll start a new nation with you. No, I just want to be erased. I want you Jewish people for you to forgive them. And Hashem did. He forgave us. And Moshe Rabbeinu also is one of the reasons that Mashiach hasn't come, not in a bad way, but Mashiach will not come until every single Jew gets on board. Every single Jew does tshuva. Every single Jew returns to Hashem. We have a long galus, and it's lasting year after year, century after century. And this is one reason. Because it's not just for the tzaddikim to come to bring Mashiach. We learned this in this week's Parsha. Yaakov called his children together, and he wanted to tell them what's going to be at the end of time, meaning the final redemption, meaning Mashiach. All of a sudden, it turned black. The lights went out. He lost his Ruach HaKodesh. So he thought, wow, why? Maybe my children aren't worthy. Maybe they're not religious or not have enough faith in Hashem. To which they answered him, Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu, Shem Echad. Listen, our Father Yisrael, Shem is our Hashem. We're with you 100%. So then what could it have been? And then Yaakov realized his children were all tzaddikim. All the 12 tribes were holy, pure. But Hashem is not just looking at tzaddikim. He's looking at under 10, like where we like the Hanukkah candles. He's looking at the ones far far away, low, in the place of darkness, in the place of sin. And it's these Jews that he's waiting for. He says, I'm not bringing Mashiach until every single Jew is on board. We're all on the train, or the train doesn't leave. And Moshe Rabbeinu is a true leader. So there's something very beautiful that I love to think about at the end of each. Moshe Rabbeinu stays and holds us and keeps us from Shema. Shema means like to, God forbid, serve other gods and leave Hashem. We say Shema in English, must be a word.
Right.
Yes, to stray to another, to foreign gods, God forbid, Moshe and Ratzon. So there's three words. There's Shemad, which means, God forbid, to leave Hashem. Moshe, which is our leader that's praying and loves us. And Ratzon means that we're accepted by Hashem and we want Hashem. We want you, Hashem, and Hashem wants us. And it says that Moshe, our leader Moshe, stands between, God forbid, leaving God and Ratzon, being close to Hashem, being one, wanting Hashem. And we see this in the numerical value of these words. Let's start from Shemad. Who knows how much Shemad equals up to? Shin is 300, Mem is 40, and Dalet is 4. Grand total of 344. And Ratzon is 290, and another 50 is 340, and above is 6, it's 346. So we have leaving is 344, coming back and wanting and being close to Hashem is 346, and who's in between?
345.
Moshe, you got it, 345.
Wow.
Moshe is in between. And so, chazak v'nis chazek, that we should have that strength to go on and to jump onto more mitzvahs and closeness to Hashem, and being the kind of Jews that he wants us and that we want to be. So there's a beautiful story that I heard from Rav Yossi ben Shushan, how the tzaddik, how Moshe Rabbeinu, Yisachar, Yaakov Avinu, all the tzaddikim, David HaMelech, Yochanan Tzaddik, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Shimon, you name it, sees the good. True tzaddikim see the good in every single Jew. Remember the story of Aryeh Levine, how he sees the heart of the Jew? They see the real us, the real me, that's pure and good and wanting just purity and goodness, just Hashem. Even though there's layers of gullus, of exile, of bad, of influences, of sadness, all these exiles, all these layers are not me. When we push them away, what's left is the real Jew. And the tzaddikim have this X-ray vision to see the heart and the soul of every Jew. So every Jew is precious. And the Maccabees were willing to give their lives for Hashem. They didn't know the outcome. They didn't know there would be phenomenal miracles. They didn't know there would be a Hanukkah. They were just doing the best they could do. I'll leave you, Hashem, I love you so much. I'll give my soul for you, everything. And so there's this beautiful story from Rav Yossi ben Shushan that in the time of the Cold War, the KGB, having a bris for a young 8-year-old Jewish boy, infant, was illegal. A lot of things were illegal. That was one of them. And
8 days, not
8 days, thanks. And a Rav, right when the Iron Curtain fell, and now all these Jews that were with great mysterious nefesh, they could have been chas v'shalom hurt, could have been chas v'shalom worse. Now they can serve Hashem. Now they can openly light the candles. Now they can openly have a bris, keep Shabbos. And they were they were so excited. And a group of rabbis came from America, this particular rabbi from Brooklyn, to restore the religion, to restore Yiddishkeit. And he was a kiruv rabbi, and it was Simchas Torah in Moscow, I believe. They were dancing, and they had schnapps, and they were, excited, and they were dancing and singing. And he was getting everybody excited, it was a very beautiful Jewish affair of joy. There were only men in the shul because the women and children were still afraid to come out, were still afraid to show in public that they were Jewish. It was right after the Iron Curtain fell. They weren't yet ready. There were only men in shul, no children, no women. And in the back, the rabbi from Brooklyn sees a big, tall man sitting there stoic, like not moving, like stone. He's not moving. He's just sitting there. So he starts walking to him. Wow, this is why I'm here. I'm going to help him. I'm going to get him all excited about dancing, about Judaism, about the Torah. And he goes up to him, and the Gabbai is running behind him, catches him a couple of steps away. Don't go to him. Don't talk to him. Why not? He said, do not go anywhere near him. Go help other people to dance and be happy. And he doesn't know why, but his Gabbai sort of pushes him away. And then he goes again later to talk to him. And then they start to take out the Torah. And it's a Sephardic Torah, tall one. And they're dancing and singing. He puts his talus over his head, the rabbi, and he starts singing Mipi Kale and Moshe Torah, Moshe Emes, and nobody's answering him. Like, where'd they all disappear? It's all quiet. And he takes off the talus and he sees that the whole room is divided like the Yamsu, like the sea. And there are men on this side, men on this side. And he sees that big, tall man that hadn't moved a muscle for the first hour or two, starting to walk slowly towards the Torah. And nobody's talking. And nobody can see. It's very, very quiet. And he starts walking to him. And he gets closer and closer and closer. And he goes up to the Torah. And he's big and tall. And he picks it up like it's a feather. He picks it up. And he turns it around. And whatever he does, the whole congregation does. He walks up and back. They walk up and back. He jumps a little. They jump a little. He walks forward and backwards. They forward and backwards. He jumps higher. Everything, and the man sees, the rabbi, how much power and like influence he has over all the men there, the whole community. And then he turns the Torah around and opens it up. And he's dancing, and everyone's dancing with him, and every move he makes, they make. And then all of a sudden, he puts down the Torah, and he rips off his shirt. Rips off his shirt. The rabbi from Brooklyn, he's going to go up to him. And what's he doing? And they became wild at that point. And he takes his shirt and throws it into the group of men. And the rabbi is like, are these Russians crazy? No, they're not. So pretty. And he started to walk to the man. And the rabbi stops him. He says, don't go anywhere near it. The people will kill you. I mean, don't go near the man. They'll be very upset. Don't go near the man. Just give it one more minute. You'll see what happens. Just give it one more minute. At that point, this big, tall, older man takes off his undershirt. And they're all clapping and happy. And he sees his back is mutilated. His back has cuts in it and wounds in it, his back is all mutilated. And the whole group of the Kehillah are all friends, and also the Gabbai, part of the Kehillah, they're pointing to the Torah and pointing to his back, pointing to the Torah and pointing to his back, and singing and like wild with excitement. And they're cheering him on, and the rabbi, he says, what is going on here? What is happening? Like, he couldn't believe his eyes, his ears. And the Gabbai said, at the height of the KGB, when couldn't do anything in Judaism, this man was a Moel. This man did a bris on little children. And he had a child, he had a baby boy, and he was going to do the milah for him at the age of 8 days. And the KGB found out about it. And they came to his house on the 8th day, and they break into the house, and they see him with 9 other men, and the knife is in his hand, and he's about to cut and make the milah. And they say to him, stop. If you go through with this, with the knife, we're going to kill you. And he smiled, and he made the milah. They dragged him outside, and they beat him to death. They thought he was gone. They thought it was over. He was a tough, strong man. They went away, and his friends from inside brought him into the home. another minute, he would have been caught. And they nursed him back to health. They had a lot of medical equipment in the house for the baby, for the bris, and they helped him and they bandaged him up, and they brought him back to life. And took months, took years until he got better. And the rabbi said the most amazing part is his whole shul who was dancing and jumping up and down and pointing to the Torah and pointing to his back. And they were like, we overcome everything. They couldn't even read Hebrew. They couldn't even read Hebrew. But you couldn't find a Jew closer to Hashem with more serious nefesh, with more, I'll give everything, my life for Hashem. And to think what a Jew is, that's this guy. That's this
Wow,
guy.
that's
Question, why did the rabbi prevent the rabbi from even approaching this man? What was
I'm not sure, maybe because they had that set up every since his Torah, and he was doing his thing, and I don't know, he couldn't veer from it. I don't know what he was afraid of. Yeah.
just to give his face to
Yeah.
holy.
And that's where the Maccabees, they didn't know that they
So it would
would
have been
live.
so respectful to go and try to vicarate him, but try to.
He doesn't need to be correct.
Yeah,
Like he
exactly.
didn't know who, like,
Who he
the
talking
rabbi
to.
was well-meaning, but he didn't know who he really was, and it might have come across a little like condescending and might have been
But
disrespectful.
he gave his
I
life for
realized it.
Hashem. And
Yeah.
there's no one more pure.
Which is it? Who's the son?
Yossi.
Yossi.
Was,
Yeah. And it's just, we can never judge another Jew, and we can never know what's going on in their heart and how high and holy they are, how high and holy every Jew is, no matter what they look like. And that's the power of chazak v'nischasek, the power that Moshe Rabbeinu gives us, the power of Hanukkah. And to look inside and to see the good of every Jew. Let's look inside of the first pasuk. Somebody like to read? It's pasuk chapter 48, pasuk 8. Can you read it in Hebrew, please? And could you read it in English after?
No, I haven't. That's it.
Vayar Yisrael, number 1. It's on the first page, number 1.
Right here.
Oh, up here, Niar Yisrael et B'nai Yosef V'Omer Miela. Okay.
Noticing Joseph's sons, Yisrael asked, "Who are these?"
And Rashi says, why did he ask who are these? He wanted to arouse and strengthen the love that his son Yosef had for his 2 sons, Menashe and Ephraim. So by asking them, who are these sons? It's like, oh, they're mine. They're my wonderful children. He wanted his love, the love. He was a good grandfather, a good smart father. He wanted the love of his son to be aroused for his own children, for his grandchildren. And Rashi said, this is the Orach Chaim says that. Rashi says, he looked at them and all of a sudden, again, it was dark, like he didn't have Ruach HaKodesh Yaakov to bless them. And he said, who are these sons that in the future their children and grandchildren down the line will sin? And who are they? Who are they? Because people, Menashe came from them and others that served idols. And Yaakov says to Yosef, who are they? I don't recognize them. I can't give them a bracha. And Yosef answers, and the next pasuk he says, Banai asher nasan li Elokim bazeh. These are my children that Hashem gave me. Bazeh. Bazeh means with this. Yosef was saying that let's find the good points in all of them. Let's look, even if we need a magnifying glass, how it says over here that what you see here, they're holy sparks. They're holy, holy sparks, and we want to find the good in every single Jew, and then they'll be ro'ui, they'll be fitting to bless them. And because Yaakov said, who are they? And Yosef said, they're my children that Hashem gave me. That this is the zechus, this is the merit, that they're holding on to their Jew. They might have fallen very much in the future, but I find in them one point of good, and that's enough. Bazeh, you should bless them. And what does it say? The pasuk goes on to say, Va'avarchem. Yaakov said to his son Yosef, okay, I will bless you. Because a Jew is precious, like this Jew in Russia, who could at all reach to his greatness and to his serious nefesh. And we can't judge a person from the outside. The true leaders, the true tzaddikim bring out the greatness of every Jew. And we're going to see that in a minute by the next pasuk. This is we're up to page number 2. Yeah, thank you. And it's number 2. This is chapter, and it says the Hebrew. Who would like to read the Hebrew? Yisachar. On page number 2, the top, Yisachar, number 2.
I can read it again if you want.
Okay, thanks.
Yisachar Chamor, Yerem, Ridetz Bein Hamishpatim.
Sachar, the English.
Issachar is a strong-boned donkey crouching among the sheepfolds.
And thank you. And Rashi says, what, like a donkey bears a heavy load. They're like, animals that like carry things. And Yisachar carried the yoke, the yoke, the heavy burden, not heavy burden, the very sweet burden of Torah. And in Pirkei Avos, it says, Pirkei Avos, chapter 3, Mishnah 5, that the rabbi said, Rabbi Chunya, whoever takes upon himself the yoke of Torah, he won't have the yoke of other things in the world. In other words, Adam la'amal dror. Every person, each of us, lo nivra Adam ela la'amal. We weren't born except to work. Everyone works hard. Look around, everybody works hard. And what a zchus, what a joy that our working should be in Torah, that our working should be in mitzvahs. Everyone's working hard. People are running to the other end of the world, running to make a living, running to put bread on the table, running to have a relationship, and where's their running leading them to? And our running is leading us to closeness with Hashem, to the real joy of Torah. The Torah makes us happy. The Torah holds us up. And how fortunate we are that our Amel is in Torah. And we wouldn't want to switch it for anything in the world. And that's how fortunate we are. And that's the bracha that Yisachar was given. And there's something also interesting in the name Yisachar. Yisachar is spelled, how is it spelled? How is Yud? Thank you. How can we divide this? The name Yisachar, which Yaakov just gave a blessing to all his sons, one of them being Yisachar. How can we divide this into 2 words? Yesh. Sachar. There is reward. Great. Yesh. Sachar. The word Yisachar is Yesh. Sachar. There is reward. He's a tzaddik like Moshe, like Yaakov and Yosef, that comes to encourage us. Don't give up. Yesh Sachar. This is Yesh Sachar. Whatever you've done, you might not feel that you're close to Hashem. You might not feel that you've accomplished anything. You might not feel that you got anywhere, that you helped anyone, let alone especially yourself. You might not feel any of that. Yesh Sachar. Don't give up. He comes to tell us, the one who learns the Torah, that just stick with it. Say another chapter Torah. Learn another pasuk of Torah. Do another mitzvah, and don't give up, because and then he brings also from Divrei Hayamim, that's Chronicles, where it says Bnei Yisachar Yodea Bina. The children of Yisachar, they know, they understand a person's heart. They're the tzaddikim that understands that there's ups and downs to life. There's 28 types of, it's brought down also, types of life that every single person encounters from the day they're born until 120. There's the good times, there's the bad times. And Yisachar, Yodea Bina, he knows what's going on, and he says, hang on, don't give up. Ki yesh sachar lepuloseh. It's a similar phrase as Shem says to Rechov, you'll have a schar for what you did. None of us should ever give up, because whether it'll be today, a month from now, or in the future, Hashem doesn't remain, he takes everything and he puts it into his chest of diamonds, of gold, and of expensive stones, and he holds it for us into a bank account, and he'll give it to us. He'll give it to us back with interest, with ribid. And so we don't have to worry. Whatever we do good, yesh sachar. Yesh sachar. That's what the tzaddikim teach us. And over here it says Yisachar Chamor. Yesh sachar. That he tells everybody, even the lowest people, you're going to have a reward. Everything is going to work out. And don't worry and don't give up. Even though chamor is like a donkey, chumrius is like how would we say chumrius in English? Chomer. It's things that are very materialistic. Yeah, a chamor is like he holds the materialism. We don't think of a donkey as a very spiritual being. And even the pasuk says Yisachar chamor. He is like a donkey, meaning even the lowest people, even a person that looks like he's just materialism. It's all he wants to eat, drink, and be happy, and he doesn't care about spirituality, or about Hashem, about mitzvahs. Even the lowest people, just like the Hanukkah candles, is under the 10 tvachim, under very, very low place that we light up there. B'kol hadari mata. So Yisachar lights up to the people that are very, very low. Don't give up. Don't give up from the rachamim, from Hashem's mercy at all. And then Hashem will bring us back up. And that's the idea of Livnei Yisachar Yodeya Bina, like it's number 3. That is from Divrei Hayamim. They know Bina Le'itiv. They know how to help the Jewish people. We have 28 types of different times, and some good, some not good, and all these times that go over us and it happens to us in our entire lifetime. The tzaddik, like Yisachar, Melame Torah V'das, Yisachar, Sheyochal Laha'ir B'chol Echad Yisrael, he can light up in every single one of us. Sheyuchal Litchazek, Yasher Amdo. We should have strength. We shouldn't give up. We shouldn't feel bad or fall back. Not to fall away, to be strong in our mitzvahs, strong in our avodas Hashem, strong in our caring for each other and in our love for each other. And if we can do that, then we'll see Mashiach, because what's left doing Hashem's ratzon, what's left Amunah, that's what's left. That's what's left. And if we can do that, then we'll come to see Mashiach. A little bit later in the Parsha,
What's the 28 times?
I think it might be the 28 times of Eis Lazeh, time to this, or time to that. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. It's brought down 28 times. I'm interested to know if that is that. That's what I'm thinking. And later on, Yaakov gives a bracha to Dan. And Yaakov sees that Shimshon Hagibor, Samson the mighty, is going to come from Dan. And Yaakov knows that Mashiach will come from like Yehuda and Dan, some kind of a combination. And he's hoping it'll be Shimshon. And then he sees in the future that it's not Shimshon, that Shimshon is going to be killed. And what does he do? What does a Jew do when he's appointed? And when we put all our hopes in something and it doesn't happen, like in Mashiach. So the next pasuk of the Torah is very beautiful. The next pasuk is it's like a prayer. Like it's interesting that it's in the pasuk. It's in the Torah. The next pasuk after Yaakov blesses Dan and realizes Mashiach is not going to come from him, and the Gullus is going to last longer, thousands of years. The next pasuk is Yishuascha Kivisi Hashem. What does a Jew do when his hopes are dashed? Hashem, you're all I have, and I'm not giving up. Yishuascha Kivisi Hashem, to your salvation, to helping me. Kivisi, I'm looking to you. And that's what a person does when they're in the dark and they have no one to turn to, just to you, Hashem. Like the Ramchal says, the word kivisi has in it the word kav. See, kivisi, that I yearn or that I hope. The two letters is kav. That's the line that connects Hashem down to me. There's a line from Hashem's Kisei HaKavod that there's one line that goes all the way down to me. One line goes all the way down to you. It's a personal line, that kav, and we can just imagine it, just picture it. And Hashem has a line of life, a line of light, a line of goodness coming right down to me. And how do we connect to that light? Light, that line, that kav, kivisi, returning to Hashem. That all our hope is in Hashem. And of course we do these shadras, whether it's doctors or bankers or working or parnasa, but our hope is in Hashem. Our hope is that Hashem will give us everything that we need. And when the tzaddikim, when Hashem gives us a bracha or a matana, he watches us. How are you going to use it? Are you going to make a business deal out of it? Are you going to use it for me and for the poor people? Are you going to help others with it? And when we help others with our gifts, whether it's our wisdom, our money, our strength, whatever, then Hashem says, you know what? I'm going to give you more because I see you're using this in such good causes. And Reb Meir Primashlan, ever heard of him? He was a young chassid and from the city of Primashlan, so he got his name. And he and his friends went over to visit the Chozeh Lublin. It was a very, very great tzaddik, the seer of Lublin. And they were in a rickety wagon. They were so poor. And they get to the Chozeh, and the Chozeh of Lublin takes a liking to Reb Meir, a young chassid. And he says, come sit next to me. And he's sitting with him the whole time. And they ate a meal. And then the Chozeh says to him, you can bench, Til Baruch, go bench, which means you could lead after the meal blessings, you could lead the benching. It also means he hinted it, you could bless other people and your blessings will come true. A young man, a young chassid. And after that, all his friends gave him so much kavod and respect. This I heard from official Shachs. And they gave him respect and they had him sit in the front of the wagon. But sitting in the front of this tippity wagon wasn't so safe because it could tip over that way. It was an old wagon. Each wheel faced a different way. And the wagon itself was made up of parts of different wagons. You know, you take this for a door, you take this for the bottom. And they want to get home for Shabbos, but all of a sudden, pop, 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 it breaks. And the horse of the wagon he should have been in an old folks' home for horses. He was so old, he could hardly move. And when it broke and he was freed, he didn't run away, he couldn't run, he was too old. He just walked a few steps and just lied down like, I'm out, I've had it, I can't move. How are they going to get home for Shabbos? No horse, no wagon. And they see an inn. So they knock on the door. Hello, could you help us, give us advice, or do you know where we could rent a wagon to get home for Shabbos? The innkeeper said, wow, you look hungry and you look thirsty. Come in for a bit, just have something to eat and drink. And the innkeeper sees how they're honoring Reb Meir Primashlan. He was a young man, and he walked in front of them, and they gave him honor. After the Chozeh gave him this bracha that you could bless others. And the innkeeper said, why are you all honoring him, young man? They told him the story that he could give brachas. He has a power because he's so holy. And the innkeeper said, really? If so, give us a bracha. He said, we have one only daughter, and she's very, very, very sick. So Reb Meir said, she'll get better over Shabbos. And the Hasidim realized they're going to spend Shabbos there. Here it's Friday night. They came home from shul. They're about to make kiddush when the wife runs in with the news, our daughter is getting worse. Her situation is deteriorating. Her signs are they're not stable. And the innkeeper was so upset, Ramiro came with his bracha, and instead of making her better, he made her worse. Or she's not better, she's the opposite. They were very, very upset. And he's a very, very rich man. He had doctors around the clock for his daughter and nurses, and she was attended, very rich. And Ramiro goes into a room and closes the door behind him. And as time goes on, situation gets worse and worse. And the doctor already says it's time to call the like she's on her last few minutes, and it was very, very serious. And he's looking at the Hasidim, and they're knocking on the door. Come out! What's going on? He comes out and says, "Don't worry, she'll be back." In a couple minutes, he starts to make kiddush, and as he's making kiddush, she wakes up from her. She was drowsy, she was unconscious, and she wakes up and she asks for a cup of water. By the end of the kiddush, she's standing up to say Amen. And this is not the main miracle, because there are miracles and people are holy, and when it says Tzaddik goes in Kadosh Baruch Hu, and people are very close to Hashem in their whole life. It's just one desire to serve and one mitzvah after Torah. So Hashem hears their prayers. But the miracle to come is that they spend Shabbos there. And after Shabbos, the inn owner comes out with a plate full of gold and diamonds. Each coin could make a person rich, like each coin. And he says to him, take your hand and scoop up as many as you want. And Rav Meirel says, Meirel doesn't take money for helping people, for davening for others. I don't take any money. And the Hasidim couldn't believe it, but okay. And he wouldn't take a penny. But how are they going to get home? So he said, look, I kept you here a whole Shabbos. The innkeeper said, please help us to get home. So they thought he'll rent a horse and a wagon. They'll get home to Primashlan. He goes and buys a beautiful chariot, Rolls Royce chariot, 4 white horses. And he said, take it, it's yours. And they were quite pleased. They said to him, you can have parnasa for your whole life. Just hire somebody to drive the wagon and the horses, and he'll pay you, and he'll get money, and you'll have parnasa. As they're getting closer, they're in a city away from Primashlan. Romero says, I don't like this idea so much. Something here doesn't strike me right. And right when he said that, they saw 2 men. They were raising money for Hachnasas Kala, for a poor bride under dire need, dire stress. And it was a very wonderful opportunity for tzedakah. And they see this horse and these wagons, so they go up there. Wow, this is a Rothschild coming up. Let's ask them for tzedakah. And the Hasidim put their hands in their pocket. Nothing. It's empty. They were poor as poor could be. And Rameirel heard what they're asking for. He said to them, take the horses, take the wagon. It's yours. And from that, you can sell it and make her wedding and start her out in life. And they all walked home to the next city, to Primashlan. And that's the bracha. Hashem gives us a gift. He wants to see, are we going to make it into a parnasa? Are we going to use it for ourselves? Or are we going to share it with each other? When we share it with each other, I'll give you more. Od yoter tov, I'll give you more. We don't have to worry. Hashem takes care of us. And if we just want to do more and more for him, like that man in Russia, he'll do more and more for us. So may we be zocha, to that. And I saw something in the malit, in our elevator. Do you have that in your buildings that you live in? We have chizuk yomi. Every day there's a different pasuk or different story that we can learn about how to be better people, how to serve Hashem. So did you hear this one about Netzach, about what eternity is? So this was in our elevator, and this is where Yisrael Salanter says that we want to imagine what eternity is, because when we do a mitzvah, we have schar, we have reward forever. We're touching eternity, we're touching the kisei kavod, we're touching our soul, which is one with Hashem. And so when we choose to do a mitzvah, he says if you take a big hall, a very big hall like Teddy Auditorium, big hall, and you fill it with little pieces of wheat, little pieces of wheat, gargare chita, and every million years, a bird comes and takes 1 kernel of wheat every million years. How many years it's going to take to empty this big ulam, big auditorium, many, because one kernel per million years. Finally, when you empty it, Eino afilu hatchala. He goes on to say, Reb Salanter, it's not even the beginning of Netzach. So when we have a choice to do something for Netzach, it's forever. And the schar, yesh sachar, yisachar, there's going to be reward for everything we do, and Hashem doesn't forget one smile, especially when it comes from the dark, cold, and from feeling alone, and from feeling confusion. And when we can muster up that smile, that Yishuascha kivisi Hashem, that is a pasuk in the Torah. This is the pasuk. To know that I just turned to you, Hashem, and I have a personal kav straight from you. And that could, like, take away that lachas, take away that stress, because I'm not alone. We're in it together. You're taking care of me. Yishuascha kivisi Hashem. And may we be so.
It's in the Shema. We said Alamita.
Yishuascha kivisi
Yeah,
Hashem.
we said.
Yeah. You say
Yeah, you
every
first said all, we say it
direction,
3 times.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Come
9
and go,
times. Like
it's just-
really 9 times.
yeah, we just don't let Hashem go because we know totally that He's with us and He's helping us. May we see it easily and sweetly in our lives, personally, and the lives of Klal Yisrael and the world. Yeshua, it's gonna be good. We have a little custom. I don't know how to undo this. You? I don't know how to
Turn it off.
I want to undo it.
Oh, all right. I guess you could just turn the whole thing.
Just the recording or everything?
You can close it also. Please join me.